So why Islam? We want to ask a question, or the famous question that we always hear. Is life fair? Is this life that we're living in, is it fair? Well, as a Muslim, we answer, of course life is fair. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created it. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is just. But if you're a person who believes that there is no life after this life, that with the end of this life everything will end, then definitely life is not fair. And why is that? Because we see people who are born wealthy and healthy and they live their whole life doing whatever they want. They might oppress others, they might take the rights from others, and they might do all kinds of horrible things, and then they die without no one taking their rights from them, without bringing justice. And we might find people who are poor and who are born into this world with different diseases, who are oppressed and who live their whole life in misery, and then they die without getting their rights, without justice being served, as they say. Well, if that was the end, if this whole life ended with death, then definitely you might say that this life is not fair. But that's not the case. Islam tells us that there is a hereafter where everyone will get his rights, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, God, will be the judge. And God is the most just. And God subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah, will judge between the servants. Over there, no one can lie. Over there, no one can cheat. And only those who are righteous will be the true winners, regardless of their wealth, regardless of their status in this dunya. Islam does not look at this. Islam has absolutely no importance. Doesn't look at your status. It doesn't look at your wealth. It doesn't look at your shape, your color. Islam looks into your hearts. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as the Messenger told us, that Allah doesn't look into our shapes, into our figures, into our skin color. He looks into our hearts and He sees the good and the bad. This is how a person is judged, by his actions. And to put things into perspective, the Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has told us about something that's going to happen in the hereafter. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, God, will take the wealthiest of the wealthiest person who has ever lived on this earth of the people of hellfire. Of the people of hellfire. He was a disbeliever and he did all kinds of bad things. He will be taken and he will be dipped into hellfire, just to dip. He won't be thrown into hellfire, he'll be dipped into hellfire and then he'll be taken out. And then it will be said to him, have you seen any good in this life, in the dunya that you have lived? Did you experience any ease, any comfort? He will say, replying to God, to Allah, he will say, I have never seen comfort. I have never seen any ease in my life. Wow. Did he lie? How dare he lie to Allah? He did not lie. Then what happened? You see, that single dip in hellfire has made him forget all of this dunya. All of the good things that he has experienced in this dunya. Everything was forgotten when he was dipped into this flames, into this fire. And another man is also chosen. One of the most, it's not one, it is the most miserable person, the poorest of all the people that were created, who is of the people of paradise. So he did a lot of good. And he's the most miserable in the first life, the poorest of the poor. He had absolutely nothing. He will be taken, he will be dipped into paradise, just one dip. And then Allah will ask him, have you seen any good in this dunya? Did you experience, have you seen any hardship in this dunya? Were you miserable? Were you ever miserable in this dunya? He will reply, La ya Rab, no. Again, did he lie? Of course he did not lie. Then what happened? You see, that single dip in paradise made him forget this whole dunya and all of its problems and all of the misery that he has experienced in this life. So what does this teach you? That it doesn't matter what you're going through. Paradise is definitely worth it. And it doesn't matter how good or what you experience in this world and how wealthy you are. Hellfire is definitely no joke.